Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'll be talking about my low-buy art supply. For those of you that are new to my channel, and a few of you are, hi, welcome. For the entire year of 2022, I did a no-buy art supply where I purchased absolutely nothing for the entire year. I have a playlist, I will link that in the description box below, as I went through the year, keeping track, talking about it, processing my moods, my feelings, my emotions, products I had used up, empties, things I were filling, because in 2021 I kind of went crazy and just purchased all the stuff. So as it pertains to a low buy, which is what I'm doing now and forever, there really isn't a lot to talk about for the majority of the year because I'm not buying anything. So to spoiler some of the videos, if you haven't seen them and you're just here for the low buy portion of this and you're not really interested in a no buy, I get that that is a very steep, drastic move. It is not for everyone. It's not realistic sometimes, depending on, if you're a student doing classes or you're working on specific projects or art is your job. It is really hard to go an entire year not purchasing anything. Believe me, I know. But as it pertains to a low buy, what I discovered is that I wanted to do 2 purchases a year, and I wanted to have like a fun one that wasn't rigid, which would be the mediums, the supplies I use. And I would do that in the summer because that's when I sort of get, I don't know, like itchy. I boredom scroll more. My mood and my feelings change in the summer and I want to buy things. So I thought I would lean into it and indulge it. And that would be when I buy the mediums. So around June, July, depending on where I'm at with the stuff I need. And then with the surfaces, the things I draw and create on, that is where I tend to really fall prey to scarcity. I'm sorry, excuse me. Folks that have like limited edition stuff or stuff going out of business. I really go crazy when I purchase paper. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My throat, it has been raining and my throat just gets so gummed up. I apologize. So when I go to purchase paper, it has to be specific. It has to be from a list. It can't be something I deviate from because that's where I tend to throw all the lessons I've learned out the window and just not be mindful and buy things that I wouldn't necessarily use right away. Like, it's just not helpful the way I was purchasing surfaces. So what I do for my surface purchase is I do it at the end of the year for the following year. So right now I need to figure out what I need to buy for 2024 for the entire year. And I only do 1 purchase for the surfaces. And it means I need to have a really clear plan of what 2024 is going to look like. And I made a video about what my 2024 plans are. Spoiler, I'm going to try and do a book. I purchased a roll of paper last year. It is a Strathmore 500 mixed media, 100% cotton. I'm going to be throwing up pictures over here as I talk about things that I need to buy. I would typically wait just a couple more weeks into the December before making my purchase. All I need to do is have this stuff before January 1st starts. But there was like a little landslide that's closed a freeway, and there are some fires, and there's just some stuff going on that makes me getting purchases take a little longer right now. So I need to do my order now to make sure I get it by January 1st. I live in a forest. I live my best forest life, which is awesome. One caveat would be that it's not a major city. So even if I'm ordering Amazon and Amazon Prime, I do prefer to shop small businesses, but the shipping takes forever. It is not 2-day shipping for Amazon Prime where I live. It could be 5, it could be 7. Again, like, we just can't count on things being open, and life, sometimes our plans have plans for us. So I just want to make sure I get everything by January 1st. So the things I need to have that fit into certain portions of my life that are paper, that are art paper, I need to make sure that I have a planner. I like having a planner every single year. I like doing a paper planner. I know some people prefer digital stuff. I am here for you, saving all the trees and doing that. However, I am so tactile and kinesthetic when I work. That's why I really don't do digital art. I like getting messy. It's why I always have the same smock on in every video. I'm gonna need to retire this smock soon. It's falling apart. But yeah, so I'm just a tactile creator, and I prefer, to get my hands in it. Now, that being said, I have purchased my planner already for the year, and it was because it was like selling out. And when I discovered that I thought that was the one I kind of wanted to get, I realized that it was on low stock everywhere, and I wanted to try it. I do a new planner every single year, so I've done Hobonichi Weeks, I've done Midori, I've done some interesting recycled things from Etsy, where they've taken old books and repurposed them. I've tried different planners, and every year I try and get a planner that would... Can you hear that? That's one of our cats. She sounds like a horse. She's playing. Cats are fun. So I try and do a planner that suits my needs for the year, and I only have one planner that I keep for myself. I know some folks do extras for different things. That is not how I do it. So some planners cost more than others, some inspire me more than others. I can't explain it. I just try and fit my planner to the project. And because this year I want to try doing a book, I don't know what my daily is going to look like, so I wanted to make sure that I could get a planner that had pages for every single day, where I can do like daily doodles and still sort of post things every day while I'm working on a book, even though the book's going to take the majority of my time. And this year especially, I've had a lot of trouble trying to do multiple drawing things at the same time. I'm doing this Stology 365 every single day, but I've tried to do other projects simultaneously, and this year has not been the year for multitasking. So I'm hoping with a little tiny A6. It is the Tomoe River. I haven't done my Neo Color 2s. I haven't done very much watercolor, and on the Tomoe River paper, it takes those products well. It does crinkle. If you don't like the crinkle, then it's not for you, but I find it to have a certain charm, and I don't mind it. I don't care for watercolor on this paper because it bleeds so heavily through. It's not double coated like the Tomoe River. Now, so that is why I picked the specific planner I did. It is really expensive. That is not the amount of money I want to spend on a planner, but because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do the book, and I still want to do daily postings and things, I just said why not, because I'm only purchasing one. I typically only purchase one. Now I have to purchase a Traveler's. It is an empty monthly. That is something that I use for keeping track of our homeschool. We homeschool for a wide variety of reasons. It's a different reason for each kiddo. We have 3, but homeschooling has been incredibly successful in getting them back into loving education and finding their passions and all the things. And they're safe, and we know they're not getting hurt. So Homeschool has been working. I keep track of it through a Travelers, and the Travelers I start at the beginning of the school year, so I need something for the beginning of September, and I purchased that now so I don't have to worry about it later. And it just removes temptation. If I'm purchasing a Travelers product, I start thinking about all the drawing products I could do with some of their other stuff, and to remove temptation. That is why I purchase it way ahead of time. I get that some people would be like, that's silly, but since paper is my weakness and I know that about myself, this is how I kind of have to do it. Everybody has a different weakness. Sometimes it's like limited edition watercolors, or it's a company that you adore coming out with a new product that may be temporary. Like, you'll have to figure out what it is for you that really makes you spend your money, and that going through your bank statements like I did in one of my videos. If you're uncomfortable with the talk of money, just skip that video. But I talk about how much money I actually spent, and I went through everything, and it was a lot. A lot, I guess, is relative. I think to a couple people it wasn't very much, and to a majority of people it was a ton. So again, my journey is going to look different than yours. I just chose to document mine publicly for accountability reasons. And I thought, if it helps me to talk about it publicly, then it might help some other people to listen to somebody talking about it. I wasn't sure. It's kind of personal. It's kind of strange. My husband and I are very private people, but we do like helping others and reaching out. So I thought this was a way I could do that by talking about it on YouTube. So other things I need to purchase. I have a running list. If I go to the library and I check out the same book more than 3 times in a year, I have to seriously look at that book and be like, is that something that I should probably own? Is that something that would benefit me to have in our personal at-home library? Now, our personal at-home library, we declutter that and we donate things to the library when we're done. If it's served us for a couple years and then it no longer does, we make sure to pass it on and pay it forward. But if there's something that I keep checking out from the library and I'm not grasping it, and I still feel like it's a utilized tool that could help me in my daily life with my art and stuff, then I've made a little list of library books. And one of those is the Bullet Journal book by Ryder Carroll. And I think that's a book I need to purchase. I will look for Gently Used. No disrespect to the publishers or the people that get paid every time a new book is purchased, but I really want to be mindful of recycling and waste and all of that. I have to be really, really careful because where I live is such a special location that if I am asking trucks and folks, oh boy, this is going right off the page, isn't it? If I'm asking folks to truck in things I'm purchasing into the area where we live, I have to make sure that of the environmental impact of making sure that that's something that I will definitely use, and I'll use a ton. I just want to be mindful of that and respectful of the environment where we live. It is very, very special. So that's one of the books. Another book I've been thinking about is Make Your Art No Matter What. I have a Art Reads playlist. I will link that too if you want to see different books I've looked at. Not all of them are for me, but I've checked out different books from the library to see what they're about, and maybe they're for you as an artist, as a creator. That one had some portions in it where you can write in it and sort of, not necessarily make notes, but I make notes in some of my books. And it's like moving beyond creative hurdles. It's like the psychology of why sometimes we get set in ruts artistically and we have trouble doing some of the things and goals we want to do. Like, we know clearly what we want to create and do, but we just can't get ourselves to move forward. And there's a whole psychology behind that. And that book is just amazing. And I would love to own it because I want to write in it, and some things that apply to me one year don't apply the next year. And my creative hurdles change and they morph depending on what I'm kind of working on. And I feel like that book would benefit me in my library. So that's another one. And then the other is the bird book that I spoke about. I did videos every single day for the month of October. It was kind of a Logoween challenge where I talked a lot about birds and I drew birds every day. It was very specific. I noticed that when I Googled and looked up specific birds by color, I was getting the same ones, which I think is just part of the Google algorithm. And then I would look up birds on Pinterest and I got a whole different set. I was missing a ton of birds that I didn't know about. And there's always going to be birds I'm not familiar with because there's just so many amazing birds. But I wanted to get a book that has them sort of listed and as a reference. And I feel like that book is something that could help our kids too if they want to do some ornithology things during biology or, you know, presenting. We do sort of zoology presentations so they can work on public speaking. I just think it would help. So that's a book that I have already ordered, thanks to one of my amazing followers who wanted to gift me that. I'm not sure if she wants me to mention her name publicly, but thank you. You know who you are. You are amazing. One of the rules to my no-buy in 2022 was that, I'm going to go right off the page here, was that I could not accept gifts. I could not accept that in 2022. And a few of you emailed me and you were absolutely just adorable and amazing and so sweet. And it drove some of you absolutely crazy that I couldn't accept gifts, even small things. But I really wanted to shock my system into making sure I was grateful for everything I owned and that I wasn't using gifts as a loophole to sort of circumvent going without. And I really wanted to feel what going without would mean. And so I really cold turkeyed the whole thing of my no-buy with some of the strictest rules some of you have ever seen. Some of you liked the rules, some of you did not like my rules, but that's what I felt I needed to do for me as a creator with trying to understand what I bought, what worked, what didn't work, why I sat on certain products longer and didn't use them. There's just a whole situation where receiving gifts would have sort of tanked some of the epiphanies that I incurred while going a year without purchasing art supplies and just living off of the choices I made in previous years for what I owned. And some of the things I owned weren't the best use of my money. And I had to be stuck with them and not have any other products to use instead. And so now I can receive gifts. You don't have to give me any gifts. Please, please, you don't have to do that. But if that is your love language, I understand. I absolutely understand. It is not my love language. It's why I don't have a P.O. box. My love language is acts of service. So I would rather teach you how to draw something. And to me, that is me appreciating you as subscribers, as followers, as folks just dropping in and watching a video. Like, you giving me your time is the greatest gift you could give me. Now, other things I need to purchase. The Moleskine Expanded 400 series plain page is what I use for journaling. I journal every single day. It is to help me with my thoughts. It is to help me with anxiety. I did a video linking sort of a tracker bookmark type thing that's a printable. If you need that or want that, I will link that video. I have it stacked, sort of this bookmark habit tracker, to make sure that I'm tracking all the things that I need in my life, with the daily journaling to help me with thoughts and feelings and emotions and processing. So it is 400 pages. I use both sides. I'm going to run out of that. I think in March I'm going to hit the full 400 pages. So I need to purchase another one, which is awesome. Like, when I use and fill products, that is so like another level of gratification. Like, not just the reason I'm doing it, but filling it adds another level of accomplishment that really, really helps. When it comes to 2024 plans, I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to lay out my notes and pages and things. Like, I have, what is it? Adobe InDesign, which helps with page layout, which is fine. I love that program. However, again, I'm tactile and I sort of have to see things, I have to write things out. That's like how my brain wants to process some of this stuff. So I feel like I'm probably going to need another composition notebook. That's probably the most inexpensive, affordable way for me to make notes and figure out the pieces, parts of this book. Ooh, my cats. Hold on. Woo, that scared me. One of the cats jumped up on the bed and didn't realize the other cat was sleeping there, and she landed right on her. Okay, sorry about that. They are vocal. Cats know their boundaries very, very well. Again, composition notebooks are super budget. I kind of do fun ones that cost a few dollars more, just because the artist in me, the designer in me, I don't know. I love all the designs. So I will do another one of those. I haven't picked out the design yet, but it'll probably be different from the one I have. The one I have is mushrooms, and I really, really love mycology. We have some really cool mushrooms where we live, but I'll probably do a different design just to keep it spicy from year to year as I fill stuff. The other thing is, because I want to buy the bullet journal book, I probably need to get another bullet journal. Now, I have an Archer in olive. It's the snake, because snakes are amazing. Animals rule the world. But it is almost full. And I have tried to bullet journal numerous ways and put on lists and make notes for videos. Like, I sort of toggle between making notes for videos in a composition notebook and my bullet journal, depending on what it is and how I want to refer back to it later. So if it's kind of like a one-time thing, I will put it in my composition notebook. But if it's something where I'm using recipes or it's some information that I find interesting that I want to deep dive later on my own, I will put it in my dot journal, my bullet journal, and then I can reference it back. Folks, let me tell you, with filling sketchbooks, with filling bullet journals, with filling notebooks for journaling, the amount of like storage of all this stuff, of keeping old planners, because there's really good notes and ideas for things in my old planners, it's starting to add up. Can we just talk about this real quick? It's not low buy related, but the amount of storage for this stuff. Like, do you folks throw out your old planners? Do you keep them? Do you transfer all that information? Like, I was thinking, oh gosh, this is why. Watch what my brain does. I'm like, I can extrapolate all the notes and things that I find relevant from all my old planners and put them into one universal special book. Again, this would be another additional purchase, which I probably won't make. And then I have a special book that has all the planner notes. Or do you just keep your old planners because it was a time in your life and it denotes that sort of period, and I don't know, it brings good memories. And I mean, some of these planners are an absolute fortune, and some of them really, like the Hobonichi one I have was Year of the Tiger, so it had tigers on it, and it very much, like, I did doodles on one half of it, so it has art in it. I just can't figure out, do I really want to save all this stuff? Like, I'm saving a ton of stuff. And then, do I really want to have all this storage for all this ton of stuff? Is that something that I really want to do? Or do I want to figure something else out? I can't figure out what to do with all this stuff. Like these 400-page notebooks that I'm journaling, do you keep your journals? Is it like a timestamp to a portion of your life to see progress? Or do you kind of let it go and move on, and once it's done, it feels like sealed, like it's more of a mental move on as well? Like, I can't figure out what to do with all this stuff. I have so much. And what's happening now is I'm trying to use up my art supplies, is I now have like more stuff stored than I have art supplies, because I'm keeping all this stuff and it's getting to be a lot. So it's kind of why I'm leaning towards thinner paper. I love the Archer and Olive bullet journal, but it is thick. And if I'm storing all these things, and I don't fill a bullet journal every single year, that would be a lot. But it's all going to add up for space. Oh my gosh, my cats, I can't. I don't know why they're so loud today. I apologize. I just have to figure out how I'm going to store everything. And the storage is going to take over the art supplies locations. I have a cabinet, but oh man, I don't know. Have you found some creative ways to store and house your stuff? Okay, I thought she wanted out, but she changed her mind. I'm looking for creative storage solutions because I, in like another 5 years, I'm gonna need a whole nother cabinet just for storing old stuff. And I don't know how, like, to move on from some of the things that I have. Like, it feels weird throwing away a journal. I mean, I guess burning it would be better because it's kind of personal. And I don't ever want to throw away old sketchbooks because there's such a good, like, comparison to progress of how I've grown as an artist and how my style has changed and how my interests have changed. Like, it's so good for record keeping to keep my old sketchbooks. I thought about like pulling all the pages out and just doing like a fire sale, but then I don't have anything to look back at in person, and it's kind of nice to do that once in a while to track progress. I'm just stippling for added shadow. Anyway, so I need to figure this out because, again, all this paper, like using things and creating everything, is such a great way to, you know, spend my time creatively doing the things that I love. It's just, it's creating a backlog of products though, of things. And then I look at stuff and I'll see a really cool product. I'll throw up a really beautiful book I thought would make a really great journal on Etsy. Like, it's absolutely beautiful, but I realized, like, one, it's fabric and we have moisture issues and I would never want it to get moldy. But the thing is, I would spend more time storing it in my life than I would filling it. I would fill it pretty quickly and then I would end up storing it for forever. And I have to start to look at products like, how does this store? How much space does it take? If it's fabric, do I want it? I run the risk of mold, and I don't want that. Where I live, we have all the humidity, so I need to be really, really careful with that. So I'm trying to figure out with these purchases, am I doing what's best in long term? Because I have to think about storage. It's not just making sure my 2 purchases a year are under my $500 budget that I've set for my low buy. But that storage is something that I look at and consider because if I'm filling 1 planner a year, you know, in a decade, that's 10 planners. There's going to be like 7 journals. There's going to be X amount of sketchbooks. Like, it's just going to keep piling on, and I have to figure out how to do that. So those are pretty much the paper purchases I'm going to be making very, very soon because I want to get this stuff in time. So I wanted to share with you what was important to me to have for 2024, for long term. Like, the books would be long term. Some of these things would just be for the year to help us organize and keep our life together. And yeah, everybody has different wants and needs, and their lives look so different, so that kind of changes the scope of what you're going to buy, what you're going to have. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we understand each other's differences and similarities when it comes to keeping track of stuff. I didn't really feel personally inspired by the Hobonichi planners this year, but I may buy another one next year. I may go for something different. Every year I want it to fit my needs and not just my wants. So it's going to kind of be different. Like, it's not going to store perfectly along a shelf because they're all the same size and the same thing. They're just not. So storage is wonky. Like, that's just something on my mind when I think about all this stuff. When I think about long-term things. And I think about things like, do I really want to own that? Am I going to be storing that? Am I going to be utilizing that in a way that would make purchasing that a good idea? What's that going to look like on my shelf? Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize for it being so absolutely scattered with cat craziness. Sometimes they're just like that, especially when it's like rainy weather and they can't go lay outside on the patio in the sunshine on my little balcony. It just makes them wild. Oh, rainy season. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.